Hearing reminds us that when Assad was close to losing power and the ability to kill hundreds of thousands of people, the government of Iran rushed in, and that the proper image of the government in Tehran is not the dapper Foreign Minister Zarif, but is rather Alan Kurdi, that boy on the Mediterranean coast of Turkey, 2 or 3 years old, a picture that brought home to the world the catastrophe which continues in Idlib. We've got millions of people displaced in Idlib. We need to make sure that our humanitarian aid goes directly to them, that it is not purloined by the Syrian government. Has Turkey been cooperating in recent months to ensure that humanitarian assistance actually reaches Idlib province, Ms. Stroll?
Hardin will be in a better position to answer the specifics of Turkey's provision of humanitarian aid. The 2 cross-border areas that remain open right now are along the Turkish-Syrian border. The challenge, of course, is the completely non-permissive environment of Idlib. So it is incredibly difficult to deliver aid across the borders, given the fact that you have Al-Qaeda affiliates, and an active hot war with Assad backed by Russia and Iran every single day, not to mention the infrastructure and the civilian infrastructure of Idlib being constantly bombarded and bombed by Russia.
Are we sending, and I'll ask anyone on the panel, are we sending any donations in cooperation or through the Syrian regime? I assume not, but I'm going to ask.
Sir, to the extent that our international assistance is channeled through the United Nations, there are elements of that assistance then that are worked through Damascus. That much is clear. Very little of that assistance, in fact none, is making its way in a significant fashion to have impact in the situation in Idlib right now.
So the UN is giving valuable assets to the war criminal in Damascus, and we're contributing toward that?
My sense is the United Nations is laboring under extremely difficult circumstances in Damascus, and that as part of the process for trying to deliver humanitarian assistance to areas under government
Hitler
control.
killed a lot of people, but delivering food to Hitler wasn't a way to to ameliorate the harm he was doing.
Right.
And we continue to contribute toward UN programs that send the assets to Assad.
We continue to contribute.
And none of the, and virtually none of that actually reaches the people of Idlib province. Is there any good thing that happens with that UN aid?
Sure, I would say this, because it's an extremely good question, and it's a very difficult set of circumstances. There are many populations in areas under government control that require humanitarian assistance. And some of that assistance from the United Nations is making its way to those populations. The question
Providing
really
those populations swear loyalty to Assad.
or at least are not in open dissent with Assad, correct?
Since the signing of the ceasefire agreement on March 4th, do we expect Turkey's troop levels to remain the same? And what is the likelihood that Turkey will be able to successfully maintain the agreed security corridor surrounding the M4 highway?
Yes, I do expect that Turkey's military posture will remain. They've established the kinds of positions that indicate that they are in this for the foreseeable future. I do expect that the Turks can deliver on their side of the agreement with Russia. I do not expect that Russia will deliver on its side, in part because Russia has demonstrated an inability and in some cases an unwillingness to compel Assad to abide by such agreements.
I yield back.
Thank you, thank you, Mr. Sherman. Mr. Lang, I'll yield myself 5 minutes. Mr. Lang, can we take a step back for a minute?